Welcome, one and all, to a Thursday live stream of The Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew, and tonight I've been joined by Dave beside me, and you got Jeff seated in the other corner, and Conrad walking throughout London as we do this one tonight, for the short term at least. So we'll see what happens as he starts to migrate and make his way home after doing a few things in town today. Good to see you. Say hi in the comments if you're here. I've got a few there already, but I'll get to just do a bit of a preamble first. But jump in, say hi, and give us your thoughts on anything and everything that we are going to be doing tonight. Obviously, we're going to continue on with our battle series of 1990 versus 1992. This is round 4 this week, which is Empire from Queensrÿche going up against Pantera's Vulgar Display of Power. We're going to do a final wrap-up and summation of our 90s album series, scoring and all that sort of stuff as well. So we'll get into that. And then we're going to play a new version of the game, which we'll get into in a little bit, which is centered around first 5 England albums from Polydor years. Quickly mute that one. There we go. All right, cool. Then what else we got here? We're going to do Who Am I? Conrad looks like we'll be able to do it this time around, which would be cool. And we've got all the usual stupidity and everything else we've got going on as well. So make sure you jump in, say hi. There's reference tracks for everyone to check out for everything we're talking about in this one in the description box. We'll share them in the chat as we go through live. But check out the reference tracks. And then what else we got here? Check us out on telly as well. Thursday nights, 10:30 p.m. Channel 44 in Adelaide, and 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights, Channel 31 in Melbourne. Both of those are local time, and it's daylight savings is ending this coming weekend, so we'll all be back.
Yeah, time to hibernate and watch horror movies.
Yeah, basically. We'll be getting there. I'm going to quickly go to some comments here. Nicole's here over on YouTube saying, evening all. Good to see you, Nicole. Thanks for jumping in. Same with Rowan, as always. And Michael, good to see you too. Same with Benjamin, support from New Zealand. Awesome to see you here as well, our good friend. And Vinny's over on Facebook saying, evening gang, hi Nicole, in conquering London already. So there we go.
I said that. I said he looked like fucking Napoleon.
Napoleon Dynamite.
No, yeah, well, that's true. We made a joke before about looking like a war correspondent, so it's a bit of a fun one all around. Now, before Michael, another Michael is here as well. It's good to see you as well. I'm going to call you Mickness on that one. And then Bash is here on Facebook. So jump in, say hi, give us your thoughts as we go through, folks. Now, just before we do get stuck into things, I'm going to do a quick gig plug here, and that's for tomorrow night, actually, April 5 at the Leadbeater Hotel in Richmond, Victoria, Australia, obviously. It's Black Aces, Dead Amigos, Torrential Thrill, and the Dreadful Tides. That's one hell of a fucking lineup. It's $20 a ticket, or you get 3 tickets for $50 if you wanted to get in on that one. But get them online through, just find out the booking online. But yeah, that's a crack. Like Black Aces is like your AC/DC pub rock kind of stuff. Dead Amigos. A little more folksy, but no less ballsy kind of a thing. Torrential Thrill are just a heavy rock. And Dreadful Tides is something else entirely too. So 4 absolutely fantastic bands for $20 a pop, or 3 for $50 if you want to go that way. So if you got nothing to do tomorrow night, fucking get on down, because that is going to be a cracker. And I think just at this point in time, the more we can support the venues at the moment, then the better off we all are. Joel is here as well, saying hi all. Good to see you. The Master Chef, good to see you over on Twitch. What we're doing, we are talking about rock and metal. We're going to be doing a bit of a battle tonight between Queensrÿche and Pantera. So if you're keen, stick around and hopefully you enjoy the show tonight. What else we got here? Going to do a quick little mention here. Jeff and I filmed a TV thing last week, which we're going to that'll air soon enough. But just wanted to make sure it's on the record here as well, because I did say it in the TV stuff that the books are always open. But if you have music and you're in a band, or you know a band locally that wants to send music for us to play on the show, send it in. Like we just want to get things going in that regard. So always send things in, and we'll get it some play on the TV show as soon as we possibly can as well. So just, if you got things you want us to play, and you have them like that, then send them to us. Like, we'd love to see and hear from as many bands as we possibly can to sort of keep things, not that we're short, but we want to try and help as many bands as we can get this sort of stuff moving along. Master Chef, do I have Discord? I don't know. Do you? We have a Discord chat somewhere, but I don't know where the links are for that right now. So that'll be coming up later on. Man family here. G'day all. Good to see you as well. So thanks for jumping in and saying hi. But that's the usual preamble and all that sort of stuff. We'll get through those sorts of things, and I'll keep posting those things later on. But make sure you get to that gig tomorrow night if you can, and then check us out on telly. And if you're in a band or know people in bands, then send your stuff to us. We're looking for more stuff. Always looking for it, but I just want to give it a shout out and plug it. You shiz, I said wrong. From MasterChef. We have a Discord, but I don't have a link for it right now, so you'll have to stick around and wait for that one. I don't know where that is right now at the moment. I haven't got the ability to open it up and share it. What do we got here? Okay, so normally, as we do, we go through our highlights of the week. And Dave, we'll start with you. How's your week been? What was your highlight?
Yeah, it's been good. Highlight was probably the 4-day weekend or Easter weekend. Easter Bunny came for Rory. We got some stuff for Jade so she doesn't miss out. She's getting older. She's going to be a teenager this year. But yeah, so they spent the morning getting their chocolate eggs and everything. But for me, Easter Sunday is known as Zombie Day, the day Christ rose from the dead and went looking for brains. Being me, had to watch some form of zombie horror. And I've been holding off on The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, the Rick Grimes spin-off with Michonne. Yeah. So it's fucking fantastic. So if you're a fan of The Walking Dead and you miss those characters, holy shit, because they've done a fantastic job. There's only 6 episodes of this thing, and I'm halfway through. The first 2 episodes were fucking fantastic, and it continues to have that level. So if you're a fan of that show, definitely check it out. But yeah, I won't spoil it and go in too far. This is a music show, not a horror show. I could do my own horror show. Maybe I should do that. I'll just fucking talk horror.
You could.
I'll just drink and fall off chairs and talk about horror. But apart from that, not much exciting happening in my world. How are you, Jeff?
Much better than I was last week. I'll tell you that.
You sound better.
I feel better too. Although it was, the highlight of my week was actually just slowly getting better. Yeah, because whatever it was, it just fucking hit me hard. And,
well, even on Saturday, you were still pretty ruined, man. So
I was, and so I don't know what it was. It could have been COVID. They didn't know. They said it was negative. I tested here. They did some stuff, and they said no. So could have been just a stomach bug or something. But whatever it was, it hit me pretty hard. So my highlight was just getting better, and it was weird because I went back to work Tuesday. So I worked Tuesday, and then I worked Wednesday, and then I get 2 days off Thursday and Friday, and then I'm back for 7 days straight. So I'm on my weekend now. It's weird. I was at work for 2 days, and I'm on the weekend again. So yeah, that's pretty. But that's it for me. Nothing special. Conrad, I guess you're up.
How are you?
Okay. All right. Pretty sorry. Okay. Well, I'm in the marketplace at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that the highlight of your week?
No, priest. Since we spoke, well, it wasn't. It wasn't last week. The week before, Priest and Saxon at Wembley Arena. Stunning show. What a gig! That was incredible. As you saw the footage, I was right down the front. I got right up the front, and I had a killer time. It was great.
Nice.
It was a cracking gig, indeed. So yeah, that was killer. What have I got? I think I've got this week. If I can afford it, I'll try and go. I think it might be in the next couple of days. Slash with Miles Kennedy.
Ooh,
right.
That's I can afford to go. Yeah,
that
if I can afford to go to that one,
yeah.
I will. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I will see if I can do that one or not, because I've got a lot at the moment coming up, and I'm running out of cash. I've just secured. I got paid out the Dulsk, the Universe, what they call your equivalent to Centrelink.
Yep.
Just paid me out $4 fucking grand, which they owed me in back payment. They owed to back pay me because they weren't going to pay my housing benefit. But I won my case. I won my appeal, so I got $4 grand back.
Oh, that's good.
Which is going on the next place. Is going on the new place, which I have to move into. Which I've got to fork out $7 grand for in advance, rent in advance, because I'm not working full time. I have to pay rent in advance. So I've got to pay like 6 months rent in advance.
Wow.
So it's about £7,000 I've got to cough up this week for this new place.
Ouch. Yeah, no wonder you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's but that's what I've got going on this week. I'm going to move house.
Okay.
And a new job.
Okay.
Well, I'll say new job. I'm going back to my old job that I used to work for. Some people I used to work for over here. I'm going back to work for them again in concert production again.
Oh, nice. So, that's something at least you're interested in.
Yeah.
It is. Definitely. So yeah, it'll be good.
Okay.
So it's all coming up Millhouse. It's all coming together.
Well, that's good. It's been a little bit of a while for you you've been stressing for a bit about things. So if it's settling into a rhythm and routine that you can rely on, that'll be good for you. So
yeah, it's definitely things are falling into place a bit more.
Nice. So that's good to hear, man. Really, really good to hear. Cool.
Yeah, because I was going to end up homeless. It was looking like I could end up homeless there for a little while there.
Yeah,
it's getting pretty scary. Yeah. It's getting really scary. It was getting to a point where it was like, do I get on a plane and come back?
Yeah.
But yeah. But I've got a woman now, kind of thing going on. So
cool.
Yeah.
Even better.
Nice.
Although I don't get to see her a lot. She lives in Belfast.
Oh,
she lives over in Belfast, so she only comes over once every month or once every couple of months.
Yep.
So yeah, but yeah, we go to gigs. She likes to go to concerts a lot. She's
cool.
She's a rock journalist, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a rock journalist. So there you go. Yeah. So.
Awesome, man. It sounds like things are definitely on the up for you after a while of waiting for that to kick on, which is good to hear, man. I'm glad that you're in a better spot at the moment, which is good. Hopefully it keeps going onwards and upwards from here for you, which is what we all do for you. I can say that. Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys.
Always.
Yeah.
So back to you, Andrew.
Yeah, no, all good. Just going to quickly jump in and say that Belle couldn't be here tonight. She does apologise for why she wants to be here, but she just couldn't make it this week. Hopefully next week things will be a bit more settled for her. Just life gets in the way sometimes, which happens to all of us at some state and another. Something just fell down. Jody says hi to everyone, by the way.
Hey, Jody.
But my highlight of the week was just the rain stopping for a little bit and getting some sunshine again and things like that, which was good. Like I was happy to get that break in the weather again and it stopped just being dreary and dreadful and wet the whole time, which was nice. So it was a good sort of change of pace to get some dry weather up here, which sounds weird to say, but there's more rain coming, so it was good to get a little bit of a break. But that's basically the highlight. The rest is just keeping on doing what we do, and things are sort of ticking along a bit nicely, which is cool. Just setting up to do the next bit of work on the house and all that kind of stuff that we're doing at the moment. So that's all fun. I think it's not a highlight, but it's something I did today. I was get rid of another snake in the house. So I won't go into the details of that, but yeah, we had to get a snake out of the house this time. I had one in the car the other week. Now I got one in the house. So I had to get rid of that today. That was fun. Did my first ever snake wrangling. I haven't actually done that before until today, but did it today. So there you go. You learn quickly when you do things like that because there's just no other way to do it. Yeah, so that was a good little adrenaline dump, if nothing else. So that's something to do. We got some more comments here. Here we go. We got Conspiracy Guru over in Denmark. Good to see you again, buddy. Hopefully you are keeping well over there. Greetings, rockers from across the plane. We love having you here from Europe. Denmark, I think it is from memory. Vinny, Dave, save yourself from wasting your time and give the imaginary and the jester a miss. Shite horror flicks, bud. So there we go.
Okay. Don't know them, but I'm going to miss them.
Vinny's gone crotch cam Conrad. Not sure about this time. And Ben's gone sit still Conrad. Not yet. He's like a fucking kangaroo hopping in and out. So there we go. What do we got here? We've got Vinny says, I knew it. Sees Priest, Rob Halford, pops around for a cuppa at Conrad's place. All makes sense now. So there we go. That's from Vinny. And Ben says, moving house is fucking exciting. It is painful to move house. It's not fun at all. But Vinny says, on the serious note here, glad it's working out for you, Conrad. Stay the course, mate. So there we go. Some more positive words of encouragement from the audience there as well. Alrighty. Time to move over to the songs of the week. And I'm going to start us off this week because I always do a random draw before we get started. I'm going to start us off. There's a link in the description box and in the comments now for a track called Verdalet from a band called Suldusk. This is a Melbourne band and it comes from their second album, Anthesis, which was released in March this year. For this album, in the original one, they were like a one-woman project. This time around, from there, it morphed into a band for performances, and that band has stayed together to record and release this new album now. So it's a full-blown band as opposed to a solo project, which it once was. Now, if you followed us and you know this band at all, you'll know what this is. It's something different. It's a equal parts band of just beauty and aggression. If you ever wanted a real sort of Jekyll and Hyde aspect of things, this band is it. In a lot of ways, this song in particular actually is a great example of that. It starts off full on with blast beats and all the stuff you expect from that genre, but it has over the top of that these soaring, wonderful vocals. It doesn't take you long to sort of get into the harsher vocal side of things too, because there's clean and harsh vocals in this one. You get both sides of that coin, but the way they've used it with tempo really does make it interesting and engaging from beginning to end. There's also, to help that along, there's this undeniable groove in amongst all the heaviness to this. And as a counter to all of that, you've got this wonderful, truly beautiful, spacious touches, the use of open, clean guitar, the strings, the amazing vocals that go with it. It all works incredibly well. In particular, the midsection of this song is really something to behold. It's a perfect island in the midst of all this madness going on around it. That said, the song overall builds and flows incredibly well. Nothing of this is random or just because they can or it feels like, they obligatory blast. But it all makes sense when you listen to the song. To have music like this so loaded with extremes, but really makes sense and captivate the listener is something that I feel we need more of in the context of a lot of bands do this stuff and it just feels very generic. This doesn't feel anything like that. I love what this outfit does. It keeps the listener engaged from beginning to end. And the way this particular track closes the circle with the heavier side of the song, like the beginning and the end, is really well done. This won't be for everyone. I get that. But I think it's one of those ones, it's a sneaky gateway. It'll capture more people than it loses. And it's in this style of music, I think it's a diamond in the rough kind of band for me. I think they're one that just absolutely stands out in all the right ways. But that's my thoughts on this one. Time to do the rounds, do the thumbs up, thumbs down. So what did everyone go with this one? Obviously, for me.
I loved it.
This was really fucking good.
It was very good.
Cool. Nice. Well, I'm glad that everyone enjoyed that. That's cool.
I might lose you. I'm in the underground.
That's all right.
On the tube. Going onto the tube, so I could lose you for 20 minutes, about 20 minutes.
All good.
So
we'll be here when you get back. We'll be here when you get
worries.
back. So if that cuts out, then that's no problem. Just jump in whenever you're ready, mate. Vulgar it is for Queensrÿche, and love the album cover as well. We'll get to that. That's coming up later on. Just give us some time to get there. It's always the main event of the evening. Alrighty. Now I'm going to have to keep going here because next up was in theory going to be Bell, but I'm going to take over for that one as well. So the next song in this context is going to be Mammal with Agree to Disagree. This comes from the Australian band's second studio album called The Penny Drop, which was released on March the 6th in 2024. This one came, though, it's their second album. The first one was released back in 2008. So it's been a little while between drinks for these guys to release albums. And so I made some notes on this one. This one, for me, in particular, was a very cool track. In fact, the whole album's pretty cool, actually. But there's loads of groove, plenty of attack. They lean into sort of the rap, metal, and rock sort of thing a bit, but not a lot. And they probably did it more earlier on than they do now, to be fair. But there's just what they did with it, the way they approach it just oozes attitude, which I think is fantastic. I love the rumble in the drums and the gritty guitar tone of this one in particular. The way they used the swing in the composition to change things up between the verse and the chorus, I thought that was a really cool touch. There's like this bounce to this beat, which is really, really cool, and that riff that kicks in. That sort of breaks things up and adds this bit of a fun moment to an otherwise pretty aggressive track overall. It's still like got melody and stuff. It's not like we had Suldusk before. It's nothing quite like that. But there's just enough attack in this one, but there's still enough melody as well. There's a good little hook to a point between the vocals have just enough melody in them and the guitar riff. There's a bit of a hook in this one. Like I said, that bouncing riff, you can hear it in your head straight away when you think about it. There's a cool solo in this one, which starts out sort of simple and effective, until they decide to let the fucker off the leash, and then it just goes absolutely off, and it just fucking goes like it's a fucking wank fest, and it fits, and it just has this absolute wondrous sort of exclamation mark on this otherwise really interesting and engaging track from beginning to end. This would be a lot of fun live. You can just feel the energy listening to the song, and you get the impression that just in a room bouncing along, this would be a fuckload of fun. Not a complicated song per se, but it's damn well done. If you've not checked out this band before, I encourage everyone to do so. That's my thoughts on this one. I don't know what Belle thought of it. She didn't have a chance to give me those thoughts, but let's do the quick thumbs up, thumbs down from you guys. How'd you go with it? Thumbs up from me. Cool, Dave. I wasn't sure how you'd go with that one because I know you can.
I just like this one.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Nice.
Was good. Yep.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, here we go. We got some feedback here. Michael says loved it. Vinny's gone the thumbs down, so there we go. Oh. But Michael said love Mammal, great track, very, very good. Jolie loved it as well, and Mick has gone love Mammal. The Penny Drops is a great album, so there we go. More love for that one there as well. All right, I'm going to stop talking for a bit. It's Dave's turn now.
Righty.
Gonna go to a track called Bloodorn, which is the album Bloodorn and the band Bloodorn, the whole lot. Oh, sorry, no, it's the band is called Bloodorn. The song is called Bloodorn. Again, link in the comments and description box. This is the second single from the upcoming album Let the Fury Rise, due on May 24th, 2024. The band made up of members from Serenia, Freedom Call, and Silent Winter. So it's a bit of a supergroup thing happening on this one. But Dave, the floor is yours. I've done my bit.
Oh, this is fucking awesome. I love this. It was so good. Power metal. So obviously there's a lot of notes, a lot of playing, all the good stuff. A lot of the good stuff, which is always good. There's a bit of a symphonic element with the keys, which I thought was a nice addition because there is a bit of a difference between symphonic and power metal. If you're a nerd and you know both. So when you bring that into one or that into the other, it's always good. Two of the things I like. There is a harsher delivery in the vocals than what you would normally get with power metal, which distinguishes it from the other power metal bands. Can't remember that band's name, but Kai Hansen from Halloween, his son has a band, and it's a power metal band. They're really fucking good, but there's nothing that distinguishes them from every other power metal band. I want to praise them high. I fucking love what they do, but they're just another band. Power metal can sometimes fall into that, but this is something unique because they bring some elements from different genres in and they create something that's cool. There's 2 guitar solos. You can never have too many guitar solos. Never, ever, ever have too many guitar solos. Both are very different. And they kind of contrast each other. The first one's filled with some space and some melody, and then it has the shred moments, whereas the second one has the shred moments with a little bit of space and melody in between. The instrumental section before the second solo is fucking awesome. I suppose you would call it a breakdown if it was, what's that, fucking metalcore shit. I call this an instrumental section because this is where you have instruments playing without the vocals. The second solo is mostly full-on shred with some spacious parts for a moment. And you have some sweep picking, you have some tapping, and it closes with a whammy bar thing, and then there's a smart-ass little melodic line. That shit makes me smile. It's just like, look what I can do on a fucking guitar. I just played a cool solo, I pulled the fucking whammy bar, and then fuckhead. I love that shit. A lot happens in 4.5 minutes, man. It's so cool. Awesome scream from the singer at the end. I'm not really sure what the lyrics are about, but it doesn't matter. It's power metal, so it's all about the guitars. More guitars. And it probably needs some turntables, and then people will like it more.
Except for you. Wow. That's up there straight away. But is that a wrap?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, very cool. Nah, Jeff, thumbs up from you as well as me. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. I love the I think like you said, the vocal delivery sort of really does make it stand out from the pack in a big way. I love the extra bit of bite and aggression it gives it. Not too much, but just a bit of extra grunt, which is cool for me. What do we got here? I think Michael said, realized Suldusk, I think, comment too late. Loved it too. So there we go. I think that's to do with Suldusk, which is nice. But back to Mammal for a second. Vinny says, Ezekiel is quite talented, very creative across a few genres. Very, very interesting character, that one. Vinny's gone thumbs up. Rowan says, Mammal and Bloodorn, both very good. Michael says, nominated this one and grabbed me on the first listen was a random find for me. That's right. We do get these songs are chosen by us and the Patreon supporters. So this is where it's a bit of a that's where these songs come from. And Michael did nominate this one. It's a very cool track. I'm glad he found that one. I love how we all have this little community in there, which is about random finds of music, which is really nice to do. Alrighty, Jeff, you are up next with your track for the week.
Yes,
which
I am.
Is the Neptune Power Federation with Lock and Key. Again, link in comments and description box. This comes from the Australian band's 6th album, actually. Good Night, My Children, released March 8, 2024. Another super group, I think, from Sydney, from memory, with members from Friends of Rom, Mortal Sin, and many more in there as well. So it's a bit of a interesting project. They've been around for a while. But Jeff, how'd you go?
Yeah, look, Neptune Power Federation, Lock and Key. Never heard of this band. Fucking completely new to me, right?
Yep.
But yeah, they've been around for a while, and as far as I can tell, as I did my research, this new album, Good Night, My Children, is their 6th album, as you said. So how the fuck have I not heard of them? I don't know. So first off, I have to say, right off the bat, these guys had me. Catchy tune, pulls you in, gets its hooks in you, and then keeps you there. So naturally, I had to seek out more information on them, and I tried to find as much as I could. Now, there isn't a lot that I could find. I did find that I didn't
Easier
see a wiki
said
page.
than done, man.
Yeah,
Easier
didn't see a
said than
wiki
done.
page. Obviously, they've got a Facebook page and an Insta page, and I naturally checked them out. And then I realized I had no idea that they're Australian. I'm like, oh my God, they're fucking from here. Okay, great. So now on their Facebook page, they describe themselves as Australian psychedelic rock and roll occultists. And I was like, okay, that's perfect. That's so great. I was just, that's just awesome. So now for me, and I thought anyone else there that listens to them or knows them, however you want to describe them, I think you've got to also include amazingly talented musicians capable of writing and performing unbelievable music, coupled with a consistent flair for excellence. That has to be in there somewhere.
Agree.
How many times do I have to keep saying that Aussies are making some of the best fucking music on the planet? Pound for pound, when you look at the sheer number of people that live here, like we got less than 27 million people.
I think we're just on 28 now, 8 million now.
Yeah, well, somewhere. I may be a little bit behind, but either way, it's not very much. So it's a drop in the bucket. It's like 8 or 9% of the population of the U.S. Now, Aussie bands are consistently punching far above their weight, knocking out their overseas competition, which is unbelievable, and I think it's great. Neptune Power Federation is a kick-ass band, and once you hear them, you won't forget the experience. There's something about the sound that's familiar, and like I said, it pulls you in, but at the same time, there's this tantalizing and unique nature about them. They've got a strange charisma which follows you from song to song. I'll get about that. Now, I know this is a review about the song Lock and Key, so please indulge me for a moment. I thought, okay, I really like this song. Well, what about, I like their other stuff. Maybe it's just a one-off. No. I put on the album Good Night, My Children, and it blew me away. I listened to each song and just let it wash over me. The entire album was just filled with plenty of riffs, interesting vocal melodies, memorable, catchy choruses. And I really just didn't want the album to end, but I had to force myself. So what I did was I thought I'd put on the album previous to that, which is Le Demon de l'Amour.
That's a great album.
Honestly, I was fucking left speechless after that. I was just unbelievable. So to say that I was blown away by the song and the albums that I listened to would be an understatement. And I just don't understand how these guys have not blown up yet. How have they not become a household name? They're going to. There's no question they're going to. And I just wanted to say as well, they're having a launch party. I checked this, I looked it up.
Okay, cool.
They're having a launch party, which is on Friday, April 19th at the Tote.
Yeah.
So I would love to go to that if I could, but of course I need to get my car fixed. So if I do, I'm going. Look, I was an instant fan, and I promise you, I will be actually doing. I thought I owe it to these guys. I loved it so much. I'm going to do a full review for this album.
Nice.
So
cool,
I'll do that
man.
in the coming weeks.
Nice. Awesome. No, I love it too. They're a great band. It's going to be a straightforward thumbs up from me, Dave. I'm assuming the same.
Yep.
Fucking cool. Thumbs. Yeah.
Great song.
Yeah,
definitely.
Awesome.
I've loved this band for a while. We actually on the Le Demon de l'Amour album cycle, we were getting emails from the direct promoter and that from them back then. That's how we started. That's how we stumbled across them. They came through the inbox and been following them ever since. So I was like, okay,
well,
just been very, very cool to have that one fall into your lap and just be able to follow them for all those years.
Guys. Yeah, I actually went to their Facebook page and I left a little note saying, I'm on the Hard Rock Show and I have to mention, I mentioned, sorry for the plug, but I was like, fuck, these people need to know about these guys. They apparently just came back from a European tour.
Yeah.
Not long ago. So obviously they're getting out there, but Jesus, wow. Fucking huge fan. I love it. Yep. Great band.
Cool. Well, we have Conrad back just in time. Hello, nice. Conrad. How you going? I'll unmute that one. What? You've muted yourself. I can't. Oh, it's loud there. Okay, cool. All right. No
loud. I'm on the tube. It's very loud.
Okay, cool.
And I'm getting off the tube. So.
Conrad likes the tube.
As the rest of the passengers have just found out.
Yes.
They're giving you a lot of space, aren't you? Aren't they?
All right. Conrad, quickly, did you get around to the Arabella and the Heist track, or?
I did. Yes, I did. It was very straightforward, sort of late 70s, early 80s punk kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
very New York kind of sound, like that CBGB's kind of vibe. It sort of gave to me. Yeah, it was okay. It didn't smash it out the ballpark for me, but it was okay. It was, it was all right.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe I'd give it a 4 out of 10.
No, all right. Cool. No, that's all right. Just for those at home, there's a reference track for you. It's Arabella and the Heist with the track 1769. It's the latest single from the Melbourne band who just kicked out their bass player tonight as we do this one. Released March 2024. These guys have been releasing a lot of singles. They released an EP last year as well, called The Backwoods, the EP, and that was released in February 2023. It's a short track, very dark. The video is actually in particular really interesting with the red. I think, Jeff, you mentioned that we talked about it on the telefilming stuff, but I think that just going to give a bit more depth to it. It's very bottom heavy. It leans into a lot of rumble. It's got an almost sort of stoner rock feel to it, but there's a very definite punk edge, which Conrad touched on as well. Nothing complicated. It's pretty, simple. The riff is the same thing all the way through, but her vocals...
It's very short.
It is very short. Yeah.
It's very short.
But her vocals, it's this whole thing, it's a weird way to describe it. To put me in mind of like being a Noor punk. I don't know if, Dave, do you get that what I'm talking about there, if anyone else gets that?
Yeah. Interesting way to describe it.
I think fans of Mammal and the Sniffers will probably like this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a definite edge to it. They've got a really cool sort of back catalog. Maybe I'm mute you for a second there, Conrad. It's very loud there, but it's a very sort of simplistic song with a bit of semi-spoken vocal, but there's just a really cool attack all throughout it as well. And I liked how this one had a bit more bite and was a bit darker than previous tracks from these guys as well. So I enjoyed it a bit. What did you guys think? I gave it a thumbs up from me. What about you guys? Thumbs up all around? Cool. That was a good one there as well. So we'll go to some comments here quickly. Back to the Neptune Power Federation. Michael said another banger. Vinny says loving this Lock and Key. Then we got Induction is Tim H's band. There we go. That's Tim Hansen's Induction. There we go. Thank you, Nicole, for that one, for the chop out. Vinny says sounds like a happy ending, Jeff. But Roland says yes, very cool. The Neptune Power Federation from Basha says nice grooves. So there we go. And Michael said, I like this too, more than Conrad. Makes myself laughing. So there we go. There we go. Vinny says, didn't mind 1979? 1769. It's got 1969 there. Bit of a cross between Transmission Vamp and the late Cindy Williams. Actually, that's an interesting comparison, Vinny. Nicely done.
Transmission Vamp. That's
interesting.
Guy from Ghost.
Then we got Jim Michael's gone. Jeff gave it a thumbs up and a beard stroke. So there we go from Michael.
That's a good sign. Beard stroke and a thumbs up. In that order.
Sparksy over on YouTube's gone, Public Enemy, you sexy thing. I'm not sure who that's directed at.
That's to me. That's my gamer tag on Xbox. Hey, Jack. I'm on Xbox. I'm Public Enema #1.
Oh wow! Well done, man. You actually got that handle. Right. Well done.
Yeah, I've had it for years, like probably 15 years.
You'd have to. All right, we did have a request for this one early on. I don't know if anyone's here anymore, but just in case you want to join our Discord, THRS Lounge, there's a link in the comments now, so go and hit that up for people that were looking for that before. Alrighty, now to do a quick recap before moving on to a new version of this game where we were going through 1990 to 1999. We tortured Dave for 10 weeks. The best part of 10 weeks.
First 2 weeks are cool.
Yeah.
Three.
Three. I think 3. 90 to 90.
90 to 92.
Yeah. But we had last week was our final week for this one, which was sort of scroll back a bit here, which we had 1999. So I got to go first this time around, and I picked Korn Issues. Jeff went next and chose a Slipknot self-titled album. Dave pissed off Bell by taking In Flames Colony album.
I call it.
Bell's hand the other way to go with Dream Theater Metropolis Part 2. So there we go.
The fucking irony with that, man.
I know, right? How does that work out? And then Conrad, who wasn't here with us last week, but he gave it in the chat to us that he picked Nevermore with Dreaming Neon Black, which is an interesting choice as well there as well. So just to recap, in my list overall from 1990 to 1999, I had Pantera, Queen, Alice in Chains, Aerosmith, Nine Inch Nails, Slash, Marilyn Manson, Rammstein, System of a Down, and Korn. Jeff had Queensrÿche, Ozzy Osbourne, Dream Theater, Anthrax, Soundgarden, Skid Row, Metallica, Stratovarius, Fear Factory, and Slipknot. Dave had Judas Priest, Skid Row, Kiss, Phantom Blue, Dream Theater, Blind Guardian, Sepultura, Aerosmith, Rob Zombie, and In Flames. Bell ended up with Warrant, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Pantera, Sepultura, Megadeth, White Zombie, Arch Enemy, Incubus, Iced Earth, and Dream Theater. And Conrad, to round it all out, had Megadeth, Metallica, Black Sabbath, Entombed, Prong, Fear Factory, Typo Negative, Judas Priest, Black Label Society, and Nevermore. That's everyone's final lists. Now, we've done the polling, got the scoring online, so I'm going to go through the final scores now. But just to recap, where we were last week, it was all very, very close. Belle was on 230 points. So she was pretty much out of the running to win it, but she was not too far behind, but just too far out of reach kind of thing. But then between, fourth through first, it was a log jam. I think Conrad was on 270, Jeff was on 280, Dave and I were both on 285 points. That's where this all sat down. So, of course, I had to go and poll the audience to get a result for this one. And let's just say it was another very, very close result. Now, we've got to give Belle her flowers this week because she actually won it. Dream Theater Metropolis Part 2 was the most popular choice out of the 5 albums. So she ended up with 50 points, which took her up to 280 points in total.
So I did her a favor.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, possibly. Yeah.
So did I. I was going to take it too, but we didn't.
So there you go. Then after that, we have Conrad, who was on 270 points last week. You ended up with 20 points this time around for Nevermore, which took you up to 290.
Brilliant record. Stunning record.
Probably not as well known as the other ones, though.
Yeah.
It's not, they're not as well known as some of the other bands. That's
not as well known. But you did.
It's a shame. It's a good record.
It's a good band. Oh, yeah.
But you got some points for it, which is what there's points for everything. But yeah, there we go. Then we had Dave and myself for a tie on 285 last week. So Dave, for your choice of where is it here? Bloody hell! In Flames, you ended up with 10 points
now, by the way.
Okay, cool. Good to have you back, Conrad. Yeah. So Dave got 10 points for in Flames with Colony, which was a bit of a surprise to me as well. So it's a bit of a roundabout one. So Dave's final score was 295, which means it's now down to Jeff and myself to see who wins and who comes second, kind of thing. So to rip the bandit off here, Jeff, you chose Slipknot, their self-titled album last week. That got you 40 points, which took you up to 320, which was enough because you beat me by 5 points. I chose Corner Issues, got 30 points to that. My final score was 315. So 5 points in it in the end, which is one of the closest results we've had in this whole thing. But even still, like you go from bottom to top here, 280 to 315. Oh, sorry, 320. It's 50 points, not even 40 points from top to bottom. So we had a very, very close run.
Very close.
I think that's easily the closest we've come as a whole group. Which is cool. Yeah. And we had a few chops and changes along the way too, which was an interesting way to go about it. Quickly see if we got Vinny's gone. I noticed the beard stroke as well. So there we go. That's from Vinny there going back a bit. All right. So now we have a new game to play. And this is a variant we discussed after the stream last week, which is where Jeff has this idea in mind, but we'll get to it eventually. We want to do this thing where we go through the Yngwie Malmsteen, the Polydor years, which is the first 5 studio albums from the man and his guitar work there. So this is a new variant on the draft game. For this, each week we're going to listen to one of those first 5 Malmsteen albums, and in draft order, like we normally do, pick one song from each album, then poll you guys out there as which is the best song on that album and score ourselves out accordingly from there. So different variant on the game. This will go for 5 weeks and we'll see how we go with it. We've got other ideas around this one too. We always try and break things up and shake it up. We've done albums and builder bands, and we've never done like this. It's like a builder playlist kind of a thing, a best of playlist from a particular artist in a particular bracket. So this week we have gone to Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force album, which is the debut solo studio album from the man. And Conrad, you get first call from this one, so you get to take the first choice. So which song are you going to go with from this one?
It was those ones you put in the list. So either of those. Yeah,
it was Black Star or Far Beyond the Sun.
Okay, Far Beyond the Sun.
Far Beyond the Sun. All right.
Yes.
Cool. So that's all right. Now I know that I've got the next pick on this one. Belle, I've got her notes here because she goes after me in this one because we did predeterminedly draw out the random order. But it's fun here because I've also encouraged, not a full-blown review, but just give it any sort of thoughts you've got on the album overall. This one's a bit trickier. It's not on streaming services, so you have to go and listen to it on YouTube, whatever else you want to do there. So it's a bit of a tricky one to get a hold of, unfortunately. All in all, for me, with this style of music, anyone that knows me knows that I struggle with heavy guitar-loaded music. It's not been my favorite genre. For an album in this area to impress me, it has to be pretty bloody good. That said, and me being hypercritical of Yngwie Malmsteen's work in the past, especially latter releases, not so much the early stuff, but the more recent stuff, I should say, that's not been as I think that's pretty worthy of getting a bit of a kick to. But it's a bin sort of territory for me, not but this stuff, the earlier stuff, is much more interesting and engaging to me, and it's more melodic and composed better. One of the notes I thought on this one was it surprised me how one note I took from this one is that there were two songs in this one inspired by other pieces of music, and those were the two tracks that I thought he really did work well with. So I think he can play. He can definitely play. But my question across his entire career is, can he write? And they're two different skills. And I'm not as convinced on his writing ability as opposed to his performing ability. He can play. There's no doubting his ability in that regard. But writing is a different story. So for me, I don't know. It's a bit of a struggle with this one. But that said, I enjoyed this one. And in my short list of songs on which order I wanted to go with, I actually picked a instrumental track above one of the tracks with vocals in it as well. I thought one of those was, which is an interesting one for me.
Yeah, so from you, for sure.
From me, that's it shows
out of your comfort zone. Yeah, for sure.
And so I like the vocals. I like instrumental music, but it's got to be done in a particular way for me. But yeah, on this one, I actually liked one of the instrumental tracks a lot more than one of the vocal loaded ones. So that's it. But anyway, enough waffling from me. I'm going to go with As Above, So Below for my choice on this album. That's my first pick, and I'll take on Belle's one as well. If I just got to scroll down for Belle's thoughts. Where is it? Come on. Where'd they go?
Tell me I have to call her again.
No, you don't have to do that. I've got it here.
I don't mind.
Just trying to say, where did I put it? It doesn't matter. I've got her rankings here anyway, so I can go through it. One moment. Where is it? I've got it here. So I will go back up through this little thing here. So her first choice was Now Your Ships Are Burned. So I'm going to take that one off the list for Belle, which I've just found as well, which is cool. I found where I put those notes on a copy and paste right below where I was. Anyway, which means, Dave, you get first pick this time around now, or the next pick. So which one are you going with?
I haven't heard this album in well over a decade, I think, and I forgot how fucking good it is. I used to listen to this all the time. It's such a good album. For a guitar playing nerd, it is fucking awesome. And it's not just shred from start to finish. There's some fucking good compositions, different textures. There's some acoustic shit in there. There's some fucking great stuff. There's some keys and there's some vocals. It's a nice, diverse listen. I can't say I've heard his newer stuff. I wasn't going to have a rant, but two things. One, I've actually spoken to Yinri on the phone for 15 minutes. I had an excellent interview with him. He's a really, really nice guy. He cops a lot of shit, but he's actually really, really nice. He was polite, really insightful, good guy. Secondly, my introduction to Yinri was I was playing guitar. I've been playing for like 6 months and go through all the scales, the modes, the arpeggios. And my teacher gives me some sheet music. It's Bach. It's violin shit. He's like, try this. It will help you with your sight reading and everything. And it's like, everything that you've been learning is in this. So I get halfway through this fucking thing. I'm like, this is fantastic. I'm going to chuck some distortion on it. So I go back to the next lesson. I'm 15. I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. I put distortion on it. It's like, this is cool. Like classical metal. He goes, it's been done, dude. Listen to this guy. Like, motherfucker, stole my idea. But my first time hearing Yinri, I'm like, holy shit, this is so good. So yeah, I love rock. I like classical. Yinri was probably my introduction to classical with my teacher giving me this music. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Going back to this album, like, fuck. I could pretty much throw a dart and pick any song and I'd be happy. But I'm going with Icarus Dream, Sweet Pop, number 4. That is epic. Various textures, moods, tempos. It's just 8 minutes and it just flies by. I thought that track was fantastic, so I'm going with that.
Yeah, on my list, man. That was on my highlight tracks on there.
Definitely a cool song.
Quite a lot. So yeah, good pick. All right, Jeff, you go last this week, but that means you go first next week. So which one are you taking for the final?
Dave just took my choice, so
that's sorry,
Dave. No, that's okay. Because
I'll have a drink for you, and I'll be back.
Yeah. Look, this album, I was the one that put this forward.
Yeah,
we're gonna do each album. Now, I'm not a fan of Malmsteen's later work, so the Polydor years, just so everyone knows, is the first 5 albums, right? Which took place from 84 to 90. After that, the fucking shit can go in the bin. There's stuff in there that's good, but you've got to pick and choose, and you got to find. There's no one full album that's just like, oh my god, So unless you got the Yngwie Malmsteen collection, which came out 91 or 92, whatever it was.
And those are the only tracks that are on Spotify or streaming services from this album, 2 tracks. Yeah.
And the reason, and I don't know if people know this, the reason these first 2 albums are not on Spotify, they're not on YouTube Music, they're not on any of the streaming services. You can find them. But the reason is that Malmsteen has had a long-standing feud with Jeff Scott Soto. He hates his guts. In fact, and Soto hates him. So to basically, and this is where it comes down to. So he's done everything in his power to stop these 2 albums from being on stream. He doesn't want people to listen to them. So
so these are the early Malmsteen albums. I'm not familiar with
the first 2.
Right. So Jeff Scott Soto was on those. Was he?
He was on 2 tracks on this one and more on the next one, wasn't he, Jeff?
Yeah, I thought Jeff Scott Soto came into his career later, like after.
Right from the beginning.
Early.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
As far as Malmsteen's solo stuff, he wasn't on Steeler and he wasn't on Alcatraz, but
right.
Look,
Steeler and Alcatraz as well. Yeah.
So obviously, there's only one song. I mean, every song, great song on this album.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna have to go with rip the Band-Aid off. Just gonna have to go with Black Star.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're going to do it differently. There'll be a poll during the week this week, but just to recap, Conrad has Far Beyond the Sun. I've taken As Above, So Below. Bell has Now Your Ships Are Burned. Dave took Icarus Dream Suite, and Jeff has Black Star. So we'll get a poll going in the coming days to do a bit more on that one, to have some fun with that as we go through. And we'll go through the next few weeks and so on and so forth. So on that note, next week, Jeff will go first, and the album we're going to be doing is Marching Out. So in amongst ourselves, I'll share a link to it to get a listen to it there, Conrad, so you'll have access to it. But it's not a streaming service, so just try and find. You can find it on YouTube and that, so it's not like you can't get it, but just not officially on streaming services, if you know what I mean.
Right. YouTube has it.
Yeah, definitely on YouTube, so you can find it there if you choose to.
Right.
What do we got here? Ben's gone Joe. There we go. And Ben's gone JLT is a great singer. You look at his discography, it's one of the most prolific fucking discographies you've ever come across, Joe Turner. He's fucking insane.
I saw Hughes Turner project.
Oh wow,
that was brilliant.
Wow.
That was great. Yeah, it was good. It was brilliant. Yeah.
Nice.
Very good.
Well, Rowan says this album was recorded when he was 17. Yeah. As Above, So Below has vocals. Yeah, 2 tracks on this one have vocals. Rowan also says, I'm going to go with Black Star, the first track. So much variety, blew everyone away the moment everyone heard it, which is cool. Michael says the first 2 are the best 2 for me. And Rowan says, Michael, first 2 tracks or albums? That's an interesting counterpoint for you guys going back and forth in the chat there over on YouTube. Alrighty. All right, so Conrad is home, which is good timing for everything. So we're going to go through now and do the Who Am I? And next week we'll move on to albums, but this time around you just got to do a person or a band. So you got to give us 10 clues to try and guess who it is. We've done all of it with the Conrad's is the last one here. Jeff filled in last week, which had Steve Stevens as guest by Dave, and so. Now we got you back, Conrad. So you have 10 clues to give us to get us to who am I?
I'll try and give you 10, but I'm pretty sure you guys are going to get this beforehand. Okay.
Now, just for the record here, folks, I've reset. I've got sorry, just quickly here. Michael's on albums, but love the opening Black Star, amazing. So there we go. Just to recap that one. But I've got to pause on the comments now for a second so I can see if anyone jumps in before us to get there. So basically, it's a race between us and the audience. We here at the panel get 1 guess each, and then we're out. And Conrad, with that being said, the floor is yours.
Okay. Who am I? I am a guitar virtuoso, known as a guitar virtuoso, not known for working with bands as such, or being in a famous band as such. Before my career took off, I was a guitar teacher to many of the Bay Area thrash metal bands.
Joe Satriani.
Yeah.
Bastard. Made it too easy.
Yeah.
Made it too easy. Yeah.
That was a quick one. I've got mine ready to go if you want to do it.
Yeah.
No, we'll bank it. We'll bank it.
Nice pick. Satriani's fucking rules, man.
Yeah.
He taught all of the Bay Area, like all the thrash
metal
bands.
Kirk Hammett, that's for sure.
Kirk Hammett was one of them, and also Alex Skolnick was another. The guys from Exodus, also, and Larry Lamont from Possessed, who went on to be in Primus, taught him as well, and Steve Vai. So he taught quite a few, and then he came out to Australia. And was on Mick Jagger's first album, Mick Jagger's solo tour. Mick Jagger's solo tour. When Mick Jagger went out on his own from the Stones, he came out to Australia, played the Corner Hotel, and had Satch with him.
Oh wow!
Playing the Corner Hotel, and that was around the time that Surfing with the Alien dropped, and then his career exploded.
Yeah,
his career just exploded because that was like a nuclear bomb going off, that record.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, it was just it just exploded everywhere, and everyone went,
better
"Who
albums
the
than
fuck
that.
is this
I like
guy?"
It, but it's much better album.
Yeah, but back then he'd only done 2, right? Not of this sort of thing. And Surfing with the Alien was just. I thought
the next one.
Surfing with the Alien just came like an asteroid hitting the Earth. It was like, who the fuck is this guy? It really was.
I saw him about 10 years ago at the Palais. That was fucking good gig.
Nice.
Yeah. I saw him, I think the last time I saw him was the G3 thing. He came with Petrucci. Petrucci and Vi.
Wow.
Petrucci and Vi, it was with Billy Sheehan, of course. Billy Sheehan on bass, of course.
That was the second year, I think. Petrucci replaced Yngwie Malmsteen because he was on the first one, and then they fucked him off, and they got Petrucci, which was fantastic.
Oh, that was about the third or fourth incantation.
Been a few incantations.
Yeah. Quite a few of them. They had like Greg Johnson. They had a few. Yeah.
Paul Gilbert's been with them.
Yeah. So
they had a few. Eric Johnson was the first one.
And Vi was, I think, the first one.
Was the first one.
Just to jump in on that for a second, is it? I think I'm right in that in Vi and Satriani just released a track together. It's like the first of 2.
Speak of the fucking devil.
There we go. Wow. They've just released the first ever track together, Vi and Satriani, which is going to be. I haven't checked it out personally, but everyone's raving about it. And there's another.
Not on this one.
Number 2.
I saw them with the first G3 I saw was with Uli John Roth, which is about the third one, I think. Was with Uli John Roth, and that was at Wembley Arena. It was at Wembley Arena, and they were like, "Who else have we got in town?" And because it's London, it's like there's a few people in town. There's like, "Okay, we'll get Brian May up because we can." Brian May gets up, and you're like, "Oh, fuck off! This is insane." Got Brian May, Uli John Roth, fucking Satch Bale, fucking playing.
That's too many. I said earlier, you can't have too many guitar solos, but that's too many guitar solos.
It's for you, Dave. That's saying something.
I need more turntables.
Oh god!
And it was brilliant. That was killer.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Anyway. Sorry, we're digressing.
Got that one.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Nice.
That's live in Denver.
Was that the one with Malmsteen? Was it that one?
Yeah, Malmsteen, Vi, and Section.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's
the next one with Petrucci. Got that one too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And they had another one with what was his name?
I think
the German one. The German guy. Who's the German guy?
Which one? There's a few.
There's a lot of Germans in the world now.
Schenker.
They
did one with Schenker. They did one with Schenker. Yeah. And he was the most difficult to deal with.
Oh, okay.
He seems like a cunt.
He's just major pisshead.
Oh, there you go.
Pisshead. Well, was, yeah. But he was difficult. Yeah.
What a guitar player he is.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Pot meat kettle.
Yes.
All right. So just as we're going through there, just so we know that when Dave guessed it, we also had Nicole and Rowan guess it at the same time as well. So it was an all-round
Okay.
bang, bang, bang. Very quick.
Yeah, it was an easy one next time, comrade.
Sorry, it was a bit too easy for you.
But I had
too
to
easy for you.
It'll never be.
Yeah.
It'll never beat the Black Sabbath album that I did when we first started this whole game, and Dave got in the first fucking clue.
I got it in like 1 second.
I know. I was like, for fuck's sake, here we go.
I was released in 1970. Black Sabbath.
Bang.
Yeah. Bang. Yeah. Alrighty. More comments.
There were other albums released in 1970, but for some reason I just knew you went with Black Sabbath.
Yeah, I don't know how you did that, but all right. I guess you know me pretty well. Sparksy is gone. I want to hear Jeff sing us a song, please. Jeff.
I've got one.
Sing a song, Jeff. Oh, there's a new weekly challenge. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
No, don't, Dave.
No, I don't sing songs, unfortunately.
Here's a question
Rap
for
it's
you
a
all.
song.
Here's a question for you all and for the audience.
Yeah.
What band, famous rock band, used to be called Megadeths before changing their name?
Metallica.
No.
I'm joking.
Megadeths with an S. Megadeths with an S.
I've heard this.
Megadeths with an S before changing their name.
This is locked away in the back there somewhere. I know I've heard this.
And I have the audience get this as well. This will be interesting.
It'd be pre-Megadeth, so it'd be late 70s, early 80s at least.
I don't know.
No. 1960s band. 1960s band. 1960s band, prog 1960s band that became massive in the 70s.
Yes.
Couldn't put it this way, the biggest prog fucking band of all time.
King Crimson?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Not Rush.
No,
biggest
not Rush.
fucking prog band of all time. Come on, guys.
The biggest
Pink
prog
Floyd?
band of all time?
Pink Floyd. Used to be called Megadeths.
There you go. That'd be why I heard it before.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, they used to be called Megadeths.
If everyone's got, I'll throw a question. How's this one? Then Metallica, right? The band Metallica. They took their name from an encyclopedia that came out of a book called Encyclopedia Metallica.
Ah,
who did that? Who did that?
Lars.
Lars, yeah, it was Lars.
I mean, who wrote the book?
Who wrote the book Encyclopedia Metallica? I would say
this was before Metallica was a band.
Yeah,
right?
no.
I'm going to go with Malcolm Dome.
You are correct, sir.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
Wow.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Encyclopedia Metallica.
Yeah.
And then they never said, "Oh, we're taking that." It's been surmised that they took it. Yeah, of course they did.
Of course, as you would.
Okay.
Well,
I have no questions. I don't come prepared.
No, we're not doing that. We'll be here on that.
So there you are. Those was just a little bit of trivia.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Something different for a bit of filling in there. Yeah. Rowan said as soon as he heard "not known from playing in bands," I thought Joe. So that's where Rowan got it. Sparks going to be just in the songs. And Michael said, "Just figure out why Bell's looking."
Joe Satriani was in Chicken Foot.
Yes, he was.
No, before his career.
He was also
he's not really known for that anyway.
And I'm going to say that Chicken Foot, while a great band, are not that well known.
Yeah. But he was in Deep Purple too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But Michael, like I say, Michael worked out the Bell wasn't here because there's too much guitar wankery for her this week. No, it's not that, but I understand the point completely. Or not enough for us, so there we go. Rowan says,
never enough guitar.
Free on CD, so there we go. And then Rowan said Rush, then followed up with Floyd. So there you go. It was Floyd there as well. All right, time to get on to the main event of the evening here, folks. We're going to get there. Right. It is King of the Riff 1990 versus 1992. Tonight is round 4, so I'm going to put these reference tracks in the comments now. They're in the description box, so check them out as you want to go through. But there's Pantera with Walk, and we're going to have Queensrÿche with Silent Lucidity, 2 very different tracks, which represents just how different these albums are. Before everyone gets stuck into us, yes, we know they're different, but this is the whole point of this was to we polled the audience for the top 10 albums from 1990 and 1992, and then we just put 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, so on and so forth. This is the 4th most popular albums from each of those years according to our audience, which is Empire from Queensrÿche versus Pantera, Vulgar Display of Power. yeah, basically this is the deal here. I've got the audience results already, which is going to be cool to see if we match up with them so far. And this is the first time in a while that we have gone week for week with the audience each time around. So we haven't diverged yet, which is actually kind of cool to see if we're going to keep doing it. Now we're going to see if the streak continues on. And Jeff, you get to go first this week. So over to you.
All right, give me a second.
Yep.
I shall load it up. All right, came prepared for this one, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time. Okay.
Sorry, guys, I'm getting comfortable, as you can see.
No, that's all good.
We all are, man.
We're all settling in.
Yes.
All right. So,
and you look like David Ellison in his video.
Oh no, you've watched that?
Oh, dude! Fuck off, man. That's wrong.
Okay.
All right, let's move on.
And on that level,
don't relax too much, man.
Yeah. So we got Pantera, Vulgar Display of Power, which came out in 1992, versus Queensrÿche.
It's Conrad's Vulgar Display of Power.
Yeah.
Oh, please stop it.
In 1990. Now, I have to say right off the bat, yes, please. This is a fucking battle. Okay. King of the Riff is actually very well represented tonight. We've got two amazing bands, two amazing albums. Both albums, ironically, are representing the absolute peak of each band's popularity. So they do have something in common. So I thought I would offer a little history of my knowledge on both of these albums, if you don't mind, and the bands, of course. First up is Pantera. I actually have vague memories of one of my mates having a poster of them on his bedroom wall years ago, back in the mid '80s. And I remember the name more than anything. I don't remember the music or anything like that. I just remember the name. And then a few years later, another mate of mine would actually introduce me officially to, their music with Cowboys from Hell. It was like, whoa. And it was love at first listen. So it wasn't until years later, actually, long after Cowboys had come out, that I was reading in a magazine, and that I found out that they had actually had a career long before, Cowboys was released. Then it brought back the memory of seeing the poster and this is the same fucking band. I had no idea. Because when I first heard Cowboys, I thought, this is it. This is their first album.
Yep.
So look, clearly Pantera was a very, very different band when they were a glam band.
Yes.
Yeah. So look, I think it needs to be said that we haven't really seen too many bands that have done a completely reinvent. They've completely reinvented themselves the way Pantera did. They transformed themselves, and in doing so, helped to actually transform metal music as a whole. When they came onto the scene, metal was in dire need of a new band that wasn't just trying to copy Metallica, a band that was willing to stand on its own. And so I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway, that when Cowboys from Hell came out, it changed metal as we knew it. And that change actually was consolidated 2 years later when they released Vulgar Display of Power. And then again, 2 years after that, with Far Beyond Driven. Now, all of these albums were so strong that they were able to buck the trend at the time, which was fucking grunge. Okay. Yeah. And the sound that they had was that they created was fresh, it was unique, and it was heavy as fuck. And that's exactly what was needed. Intense, yes. And that's what needed. The metal community was pining for something like this. And they delivered. And because grunge was literally just taking over everything at this time. And Pantera was flying the metal flag for everyone. And they were loud and proud, and they were kicking ass and taking names. So I think it's important to say that while I really liked it, of those three albums, Cowboys, Vulgar, and Far Beyond Driven, believe it or not, Vulgar is actually my least personal favorite from the lot.
No, okay. Wow.
Yeah. And when I was researching information about the album, I thought it was funny because I found out at the time when I was doing this that it was actually their highest selling album. And I never would have guessed it. I would have thought personally, to me, Vulgar is a great album, but it's sandwiched between two phenomenal albums, The Cowboys from Hell and Far Beyond Driven. That's the way I saw it. So I had, and so no doubt, due to its massive popularity with the fans, it's still going to be at the top of many people's lists as one of their best, and perhaps deservedly so. I just didn't see it that way. So now we get on to Queensrÿche and Empire. And having been a fan of this band since their first album, The Warning, I've been on their bandwagon ever since first hearing them back in 84 or 85. I don't know when it was, but it was somewhere around there. And I remember back at the time, they were actually touted as the poor man's Iron Maiden. It was funny. That's what
silly.
People... Yeah.
I remember that.
I definitely see them as America's answer. Definitely America's answer to Priest.
Correct.
To Priest and Maiden. To Priest and Maiden, I think they'd be America's answer to Priest and Maiden, definitely, yeah.
Absolutely. And people were saying it. And I just remember that, literally those words, the poor man's Iron Maiden. And of course, you can throw Priest in there as well. But obviously, that has a lot to do with Tate, right? And being compared Tate.
Yeah, certainly the vocal Dickinson. Style.
Correct. But Queensrÿche would forge their own path and sound. And now they started in what they call power metal. And some people have actually said that The Warning is one of the greatest power metal albums, of all time. It's up there, and it's routinely makes the top lists of power metal albums. But by their third album, Operation Mindcrime in 1988, they had created and released.
That was, I guess, album or EP. Sorry, the first one was an EP, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first one was EP, right? The first full album.
So it's not an album.
Warning,
first full album.
Yeah.
Rage for Order. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Correct.
My bad.
No, you're fine.
I'll shut up.
Yep, that's okay. But look, by their third album, Mindcrime, which came out in 1988, they had actually created and released what many would consider the greatest metal concept album of all time, and that includes myself.
A lot of people. Yeah.
Now, while I have argued this point ad nauseum,
we all have.
Let's
not go there.
Others here have.
Not going there. No, not going there.
Yeah. But I mentioned it, so others here have disagreed.
Yep.
But what makes this music so special is that everyone consumes and appreciates music differently. So that's just the beautiful thing about music. But I think, regardless of your opinion, most people agree that it's absolutely an essential album within their catalog. You can't really argue that it's not. So now, obviously, when the band decided to follow up Mindcrime, Queensrÿche would go into the studio and come out with something really special. And when it came out right at the beginning of the grunge explosion in 1990. Grunge had been building, and then in 1990, 91, we all saw what happened. Music went to hell in a handbasket. But Empire was strong enough to withstand the rejection that many bands were facing at the time. And not only did it stand on its own, it bucked the trend. And this only reinforced its strengths, and it sold like hotcakes.
It's a nice, well-sold album. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So despite the trend of grunge, Empire actually cut through it all. So
they were supporting Metallica on this.
They were
on Empire. Well, Monsters of Rock in Oakland. Yeah. They were on the bill for that, and they were supporting with Empire. They were supporting the Justice for All, I think. Metallica had a Justice for All out. Yeah.
Well, Justice came out in '88, so they would have been
That's right.
Operation Mindcrime.
Yeah, but I'm saying they went out. They did go out. I think it was probably the Black Album, and these guys were supporting. I think.
Yeah, well, I think
they might have been for a while.
Anyway, but they have
for a little while there. Yeah.
They would have been headlining pretty soon. But to me, Empire is more than just an album. It's a tapestry of sound that encapsulates genre-defining music, and it's easily accessible and somehow completely unique. And really, it's impossible to emulate. Nobody out there sounds like Queensrÿche, and by extension, nothing out there sounds like Empire. So here is a band that was proving that they were really more than a one-trick pony and capable of following up what is perhaps the greatest career-defining album that they did with Operation Mindcrime, with this arguably another career-defining album, the greatest album, which is Empire. So most bands can only dream about writing and recording that one career-defining album. And here Queensrÿche had just done it 2 times in a row. As mentioned, I believe this is more than just another album. I would go so far as to say that every song on this is a sonic masterpiece all by itself. No attention to detail was overlooked, and you can hear it. Each instrument is perfectly played by the musicians behind them, and vocally, Jeff is at his absolute top of his game in this album. He's never sounded better than he does in this album throughout his career. Overall here, the production was handled by Peter Collins, and I think this is the best produced album that Queensrÿche ever did of their entire career. However, the album isn't without its flaws. I don't think the songs Hand on Heart, One and Only, and Resistance are particularly compelling songs. They aren't bad. In fact, I'd say that they're actually good, but given the pedigree of the other songs that we hear on Empire, they just don't stack up as high.
Yep.
So Empire would go on to do triple platinum in the US, making it the band's best-selling album, just like Pantera did with Vulgar, Display of Power. And so the success of that album, the band would produce 6 videos, getting heavy airplay on MTV, along with other music channels. Back when they actually showed music videos. Remember that? Yeah. Seems like another fucking era. Yeah, it's crazy. But look, the massive success of Empire would allow the band to go out on tour for their previous album, Operation Mindcrime, and create full-on tour and concert video of that album called Operation Live Crime. Producing the shows that they couldn't afford to do when Mindcrime came out just 2 years earlier. And let me just say, this is an amazing concert. So if anyone out there hasn't seen it, you must try to find a copy of this on DVD if you can. Back in the day, I actually had it on VHS. It was a big fucking box.
I've got the box set. I've got it. I've got it in the box. Well, I've got it in the box. Comes in the box. Comes with a VHS and a CD of it. I've got it, and a booklet. I've got it.
Yeah. Well, I wish I still had it, because it'd be worth it for us today. So if you've got it, hang on to it. That could probably fund your next mission moving. That could help fund it. But look, going back.
I don't think I'll ever sell it.
No, you shouldn't.
No.
When they went back out to support Mindcrime from the success of Empire, it would actually push both albums back into selling, and they end up both these albums end up selling crazy amounts after this. But look, I digress. Empire is, in my opinion, I think it's the best album of 1990. And while we recently showed this with our recent battle through the 90s and now the 1990 versus 92 series, it's up against some pretty amazing albums. But for my money, it beats them all. So the standout tracks for me are Best I Can, The Thin Line, Jet City Woman, Della Brown, Another Rainy Night, Empire, Silent Lucidity, and Anybody Listening. And one more personal anecdote, if anyone doesn't mind, before I sum up this. I know it's been long, but for me, I've got an interesting story. So before I moved to Australia to be with the love of my life, my theme song was actually Jet City Woman, because the reason was it fit. I lived the sentiment. Got on a jet, went to a city, got the woman. And so for me, that was has a personal meaning. And it's for this reason and all the other reasons that I've talked about tonight, that I have to follow my heart and my head and vote for Empire to go through to the next round. I hope it does, but we'll see. That's my review.
Cool. Well, we'll see. We have other people to get through. I'm going to quickly jump in with Bell's thoughts just to shake things up, and then Conrad, you'll go after this one. Okay. Bell just said that for the Pantera versus, she just sent me a very quick blurb here. For the Pantera versus Queensrÿche battle, I'm going to go with Pantera. I think it's overall a more solid album that sounds just as cool today as it was when it was released over 30 years ago. Empire has some fantastic songs, but it really hasn't aged well. This is where it gets funny, because I'm looking at you, The Thin Line, and can get a bit self-indulgent at times with things like Della Brown. So 2 tracks that Jeff directly referenced there have been counterpunched by Bell. So Bell went with Pantera just as a counterpoint balance there for everyone to sort of go through. That being said, as long as I'm not chopping up too much, Conrad, the floor is yours now. Which way are you going?
Both are very strong records from both these bands. However, very different beasts as well. Both are incredibly different beasts. I think the songwriting, is stronger with Queensrÿche. Better musicians. I will go as far as say Queensrÿche are better musicians than Pantera, definitely, and better songwriters. So for me, it's going with Queensrÿche Empire. I think DeGarmo is one of the best metal guitar players I think we've ever.
Underrated.
I think he's underrated guitar player, and he's up there with he's up there with the likes of Dimebag, just in a different way, different style. Like he's a bit more Dave Gilmour sort of influenced,
I find it hard to compare those two. You really, that's a long way to compare the two. Styles are so different.
You can't. Styles are very different. But what I'm saying is they're both just as good as each other, just different in different ways.
Yeah, they both have their.
Both very different styles to one another, but both equally just as good, but just in a different style to one another. And so that's why I would say that DeGarmo leans a bit more towards the sort of Dave Gilmour sort of style. He's a great player, and I love his work. So for me, it's definitely Empire for me.
All right.
No disrespect to Vulgar, it's a great record, but it just, it's just not as it doesn't. I don't have the emotional connection to it as much, and I think this stirs more emotions in you when you listen to this album. It's definitely a lot more emotions.
It's a ride.
Up in you.
Definitely a ride.
Yeah, more of a ride. Yeah, definitely more of a journey for sure than the likes of Vulgar. So yes, so for me, Empire.
All right, Dave, hold on for a second. You're going to get the final vote on this one because I'm going to go next, which is going to be interesting. Now, it's interesting how it's been mentioned, the emotive context that both Jeff and Conrad have given Empire in the way this has played out, because that plays a big part in my decision here tonight. This is another one where both albums have a fantastic selection of songs. From Empire, I really enjoyed Best I Can, Jet City Woman, Another Rainy Night, Silent Lucidity, and Anybody Listening, just as, standout tracks for me on that one. I know it's loved and commercially exceptionally successful, the most successful by the band. It's hard to follow Mindcrime in any capacity, though. I know that, Dave, you don't like that album. I'm not going to make it about that, but
I like half the album.
I know. No. But it's a case of what I'm talking about is that for me, it's really hard to follow that album in general. Like Mindcrime, I thought was a really big bar, and it was just one of those ones. This for Empire, I think it takes a little bit longer to grow on you. Once it settles in on you, though, it's a very powerful, very good album. I'm not as familiar with this one as I am with Vulgar Display of Power. It's there's difference in what you grow up listening to, but with each spin, I can feel one settling on me more and more, and it gets under your skin in a good way, that album, which I really do enjoy quite a lot. I love when an album gets better for you with every time you spin it, for me. You flip over on the other side, though, to Vulgar Display of Power, which is an absolute ball terror. They're two very different albums. Like Empire has much more emotive diversity and all that kind of stuff, whereas Vulgar Display of Power is exactly what it says on the tin. It's just a vulgar display of power. It's all you want it to be. It's all you get out of it. They're both stunning in their own way, though. Empire has beauty. Pantera, in this case, has just sheer brute power. Mouth for War, Walk, Fucking Hostile, This Love, By Demons Be Driven, and Hollow are just some of my standouts on that one. I used to literally bounce off the walls to this album and to Cowboys from Hell. Fucking Hostile used to be one of the things when I was managing a fast food store in Melbourne. When we were opening or closing, I'd put Fucking Hostile on just to make people fucking move. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those songs where just that 2.5 or 3 minutes, whatever it is, of just that pure all out go for it. It just changed. It changed the vibe of the room. It's funny how when it comes to Pantera, I think Cowboys is probably my personal favorite album of the band, but I was actually introduced to Pantera on this album before Cowboys. So, Brad,
I think this one in Australia, we didn't really know of Cowboys at all in Australia. It was this album that hit Australia. Yeah, it wasn't until this one came out that people went and found Cowboys in Australia.
Yeah. Walk.
I mean, I found these. Yeah. I found these guys on a thrash Hard and Heavy series. Remember the Hard and Heavy series, the videos that came out? There was one called Thrash Speed Special. There was one called Thrash Speed Special, and Pantera were featured on that. Yeah, and it was only because of that video coming out that we knew, I think, about them. And then obviously Vulgar dropped. And then in Australia we didn't really discover them till Vulgar.
Yeah, no, I think when Walk came out, that riff was what just set it over the top, and that was in like your video hit shows and all that kind of stuff for forever. When that Speaking of that song, Brad, who I used to work with on a farm called Deloraine Gardens back when I was a teenager, we were both teenagers. He was on his P's and I was like 15, 16. But we lived not far from each other, so he'd give me a lift a fair chunk of the way home. And every single day he would pump on This Love and and Mouth for War and all that kind of stuff, and Walk. Like, he would just Walk and This Love in particular, and it was a beat up car, an old sedan, but the thing that was he put the money into that car was in the sound system. My fucking god, it was loud. So exceptionally loud. This whole fucking thing, I can't believe it. But Brad, if you're out there, fucking thank you, and say hi if you're out there, if you see this one by any chance. But like I said, I literally bounced off the walls to this album. It became a positive release of anger for me, which was important at my point in life there. It might be personal history, influencing me a little bit here, but I love what Queensrÿche did with their album. But, the stories I can tell to Pantera are timeless to me. And so I'm going to go with my heart more than anything else. And I'm going to go with Pantera on this one. There's no bad album here. They're both great. They're both great in their own way. So I've got to go with what my heart says. Just the sheer attack, how it changed the game in a lot of respects, how it changed music here in Australia as well. I think it's still such a cutting album today. And I think on that note, it's just a bit above a lot of other albums out there. It's a hard one to beat for mine. So I'm going to go with Pantera, which means Dave has the floor and it's all tied up to a piece. So
no pressure.
Dave gets to close it out.
I don't think in every battle series that we've done, I don't think I've ever been the deciding factor.
Well, here we go.
I have never had this honor.
How does it feel, man?
On Conrad's point about Queensrÿche guitarists and so forth, if you're a Dream Theater fan, you've probably heard the song As I Am from Train of Thought. Read those lyrics. That's in direct response for them touring and performing with Queensrÿche. Never meet your heroes. Never meet your heroes. Read those lyrics. Okay. The more I learn about individual members from Queensrÿche, the more I think they're a bunch of cunts. Okay. Read those fucking lyrics. Makes a big difference.
Good point.
Never meet your heroes. But that doesn't cloud my judgment on these two albums. This is two sides of my musical psyche. This is a really hard battle. Both bands are awesome. Both albums are fantastic. All these songs are great, in my opinion. This is my favorite Queensrÿche album. This is not my favorite Pantera album. I like Far Beyond Driven, and then Cowboys from Hell, then Vulgar. Doesn't mean they're all fucking. They're all fucking tens.
Yeah,
they're all fucking tens. This was really hard to find an angle to compare these two because they're so different. Any idea I've got of picking one album to put it forward fell short because they both have their strengths and they don't really have many weaknesses. So focusing on things like songwriting, performances, guitar playing, tone, solos, importance within the band's careers, all that shit I like and I judge albums on. There's nothing that was really helping me pick one album over the other. I have favorite songs for personal reasons on both fucking albums.
I actually think this is harder than you think it is when you look at them down the line. It's like, this is actually really hard. And the audience vote reflects that.
The 10 albums in 99, the 10 albums in 92. The first one was really the hard one. Kiss and Megadeth, for me, that was the hardest. Everyone else, I could really pick a winner on the surface. But when you dig into these two, it's like, fuck, this is hard. Depends on what type of mood I'm in as to which album I will listen to. And both have been very important. Both are the types of metal that I like. There's great lyrics, there's great guitar solos, memorable songs, and diverse collection of songs from start to finish. Queensrÿche is thought-provoking, it's diverse, it's passionate, and Pantera might be aggressive on the surface, but they've got this love, they've got groove, they've got different tempos. It's a lot more diverse than you would give it on the surface.
Even the depth of lyrics in Hollow, for example.
Yeah, exactly. There's thought-provoking stuff that you can dig deep into with Pantera. Queensrÿche has always had thought-provoking lyrics and topics, emotive lyrics, interesting storytelling. A lot of their songs you can dig in deep and find deeper meaning, while other songs are really straightforward. You would be pretty superfluous to sit down and analyze a song like Another Rainy Night. No one in their right mind would do that, but it's a fucking fantastic song. It's one of my favorites. Love the melodies, love the Jeff fucking vocals on that are insanely good. That is probably my favorite Queensrÿche song, hands down.
It's a good one.
And while Queensrÿche can be thought-provoking and some Pantera can be, fucking Hostile just makes you want to break shit. And who doesn't sing along with that song? Come on. Yep. Fucking dangerous driving into that motherfucker. So I spent the week going back and forth from album to album, did get sidetracked because I kept putting on Far Beyond Driven because I fucking loved it album. I kept putting on Cowboys from Hell. Trying to find a favorite. Eventually, I realized that one album did hold my attention 100% from start to finish. The other one did lose me here and there. And it started to hit me like a 2-ton heavy thing. I had to get that in.
That's a good one, yeah.
After realizing this, it made my choice easy. And I'm glad because when I first saw these two matchups, my initial pick was because of one thing. I didn't want to go with that because I wanted to weigh up the albums on their own merit. But it comes down to one simple thing. Fucking Dimebag. Pantera. Fuck. Pantera. There's no other word to describe it. Fucking Dimebag. So I'm going with Vulgar.
Okay. Cool. Well, it's actually, I mean, you got to find a reason at the end of the day. Yeah. But that's actually, it's actually really cool how tight this was for us as well, how we all sort of struggled to a point with this one. Because the audience vote was almost 50-50. There was a difference.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was
It's 50-50 with us.
Yeah. 50-50 with us. 50-50 with the audience. And it was to Pantera as well. So we've gone the same way as the audience. But only just. So we are all in sync with the audience here. So don't feel like, you know, if you voted for Queensrÿche this time around, it wasn't like it was a fait accompli. No. This was a tough one on both sides for us and for the audience out there. It was neck and neck the whole way through.
It makes us realize that I guess we're more in touch with our audience than it's nice to know that we're in touch with our audience or they're in touch with us.
Yeah,
it's nice to know.
We're on a wavelength, which is cool. And it's different to the last battles because the last battle we've always sort of diverged here and there. But this one's been cool because it's been going through. But what this does do as well is it also ties up. So it's actually 2 apiece for 1990 and 1992. So we're nowhere near picking a winner yet, which is really cool. So this whole battle between those 2 years is shaping up really nicely to see how things shake out. So yeah, it was literally, I think, it was. I'm thinking about 10% of the vote was what split it in the audience. For us here, it was, just 3-2 kind of thing. So it's really, really fuck all between the whole thing. So both well loved. There's nothing wrong with any of these albums at all. So don't take this as a knock on anything at all. It's just us doing what we do for a bit of fun here. On that note, next week will be interesting. Anthrax Persistence of Time is going up against Wasp, the Crimson Idol. That is next week's battle. So get yourselves ready for that one. That is going to be another interesting one, I reckon. I'm curious how that one's going to go.
I wonder what Dave's going to pick on that.
So it's a bit to take in, but let's go to some comments now. Back to the comments about videoing. Michael says, Dave, video calls you and Conrad do together have nothing to do with us.
Me either.
Don't judge. Don't judge. It's 2024. You can't judge.
No, you can't. Rowan says one new.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, you can do whatever you like.
There's a lot fucking wrong with
that. Rowan says one new album to me and one I've listened to many times. Empire reminds me of Intuition, which we looked at on the weekend, in that it's a very melodic, more popular album from a band following on from a heavy raw album, which is, for those behind the scenes on Patreon, you'd have seen us do TNT Intuition on the weekend. Basher says Conrad's philosophy: why run while you can walk away? Why walk when you can lie down? Why lie down when you can go to sleep? So there we go. From just nicely done. Rowan says, must admit that I was hoping for another Mindcrime at the time and wasn't entirely sold on Empire, aside from some all-time great Queensrÿche tracks, but I've come to appreciate most of it with time. It is one of those albums, that's why I said it settles in on you and it grows over time, which I think is cool.
Hard act to follow, really would.
It is. It's hard to follow Mindcrime. But also, Queensrÿche original EP is very, very Priest-inspired, so there goes a little footnote there. But also, Pantera is another popular band I've never been able to get into. I do wonder if I kept listening to one of these albums, if I'd eventually get it, but I thought this was just okay. So Empire for Rowan by a long way. And on Empire, I was always bothered by the Queensrÿche logo on the CD cover. It is pretty bad artwork. It was rendered on a white background, then manually cut out and pasted onto a black background. Someone should be fired. If this was a bad one artwork, there'd be no contest.
Yeah, but that actually, the artwork, remember, this was 1990. That was computer generated. So you think about computer generated artwork in 1990. It didn't exist.
Yeah.
Very little. So yeah, that's
it looked like Frogger. Minecraft.
It was done
Minecraft, yeah.
Come on, Minecraft rendered.
Minecraft, yeah.
Michael says Empire for me. James Barton did a great job producing this one. It does sound fantastic.
It is, yeah. Love the production on this.
Barton didn't produce it. Peter Collins did.
No,
I like the production. The production's great.
The mix is great. But Rowan also says special mention to the bass on Empire, a real highlight of the album alongside the singing and the songwriting. Agree about those songs, Jeff, and I flat out don't like the one and only, but the new tracks on the re-release, especially the Scarborough Fair cover, more than make up for that.
Scarborough Fair is a bit of a
I just saw him recently. I saw him at the Croxton before I left, and he did the whole of Rage for Order. He did all of Rage for Order, and he did all of Empire, and it was fucking stunning. Absolutely stunning. It was incredible. It really was. Just the songs were so strong. It was a great show. He's still brilliant. You know, he was faultless
because he was in the fire for a bit there. He did some not so good stuff.
Absolutely brilliant. You know, I couldn't fault him at all. And I saw him here in London when I got here, and he did the whole Minecraft thing again, which I've probably seen so many times now, but I still love it. I'll always go see it. I'll always go see it, you know, whenever I get the opportunity. So, exactly. So, stunning. Always.
Basher also says Empire for me. Saw Jeff Tate perform this album live last year. There we go. Amazing. So there we go. Rowan says love the Pantera cover up, but also loves Degamo. So there we go. Michael says, Dave decides. There we go. Back to the points there.
Crazy.
It was cool. Actually, I'm glad that Dave got to have the deciding vote for this time.
I've had it many times. I'm glad you got to do it.
And that wasn't me manipulating it. That was actually how it was drawn out. So it was cool that it, just happily worked out that way.
That was cool.
Vinny says Vulgar was like a Rally the Troops Army Advance kind of album for me. Such a release of energy to attach yourself to. Hence, it wins out for me. Conspiracy Guru says, and they were a Glen outfit before Anselmo, but I guess you all know. Yes, we know that very well. We've done a full-blown Pantera special, which was a lot of fun years ago at Whole Lot of Love. That was a blast. Vinny says, computer-generated artwork in 1990. I'm thinking of Leisure Suit Larry. Wow, that's going. And Nicole has said, Queensrÿche wins for me. I just can't do Pantera. So there we go. This just shows you just how it is a neck-and-neck battle the whole way through for this one. But we've got to move on, and we'll see what happens next week with, again, Anthrax, Persistence of Time versus Wasp, the Crimson Idol. That will be an interesting battle for sure. Hopefully, Bell will be back in time for that one as well. We'll see how things play out. But then after that, for example, week 6 will be Alice in Chains Facelift versus Black Sabbath The Humanizer. And there's more after that as well, which is just going to be fucking... There's some cracking albums coming up. We've got The Racer's Edge, No Prayer for the Dying, Cowboys from Hell, Lock Up the Wolves. Also got Countdown to Extinction, 3 Sides to Restore, Images and Words. There's heaps coming up. So we'll see how far... This might go down to the wire, and we'll see what happens before we get to the end. Conspiracy Guru says, had the album for years before noticing it was a punch in the face. Not very observing youth.
That was a real punch in the face, too.
Yeah, but it's not as dramatic as the story has been made out. The guy wasn't hit that hard. It was just that they it's been talked up a bit over the years, but the photographer himself has come out and said it wasn't quite what people were talking it up to be over the years. Yeah. But still a great album art. I mean, just even getting that shot and making it look that good is pretty special. Yeah. Especially in 1992, we talk about computer-generated art. To get that photo to look that good, to time that just right, that's pretty special. Without the aid of digital techniques, that we have today.
It wasn't a Hugh Smythe album cover.
No.
Hugh Smythe did all the album covers back then for everybody.
Yeah, just about. No, this was a good one, and it was a game changer too in its own way. That really did. Just go through the old metal, like you go to the shops and like, fuck, that just leaked out. It just stood out in all the right ways.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
And
I mean, and it says it all. Really, it's a punch in the face when you listen to it.
Well, yeah, it's basically what the album is. It does what it says on the tin, as we keep saying every week. It does exactly what it says.
For sure.
All right. But that's about time to wrap it up. We'll get to the bin in a second, but just a quick recap. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, check out all the stuff we do. Check us out on telly as well. Every Thursday night, 10:30 p.m, Channel 44 in Adelaide. Every Saturday night, 10:30 p.m, Channel 31 in Melbourne. Both of those are local time. And also you can watch those on TV, on the CTV Plus app, and also on ctvplus.org.au as well. We're changing up the TV format to bring back interviews and that as well, which is why I said at the top of the episode that if you're in a band and you've got stuff, send it to us. Our email is media@thehardrockshow.com. Just send us an inbox and we'll get to it when we can. But yeah, please do get involved if you're in a band or you know people in bands. Just get it in there because we're trying to get right back to the roots. We're going to do a mix of old and new. So we're going to play a lot of music, but then bring back the feature artist segment of the show where we have a couple of songs from a band along with an interview as well. So watch for that thing to roll out over the coming weeks as we change things up on telly once again. We got comfortable for a while doing the things we were doing, and now I wanted to go, no, I don't want to be comfortable anymore. I want to make things better for everyone all around. So we're just shaking it up a bit and making it a bit more interesting and dynamic as well. If you're looking for a gig tomorrow night, you've got what did I put at the top of the show? We put I've got it here. Gotta scroll back up now. We have Black Aces, Dead Amigos, Torrential Thrill, and the Dreadful Tides at the Leadbeater Hotel in Richmond, Victoria. Doors at 8 p.m. $20 a ticket or 3 tickets for $50. So get them online and get onto it. That's a great gig tomorrow night. So get onto that one. If you want to help us out behind the scenes, check out our Patreon page if you'd be so kind. Links, just follow just find us on Patreon or whatever else. We'd love your help there. We're looking to do a lot more this year. The interview part of that is a big part of the work. So the more you can help us there, the more we can get done in that regard. You also get to do things like watch other sessions we do online and get to see us do things behind the scenes, which is kind of cool for everyone to be involved in, which we've got a little bit of a sub bracket here in the audience, which is great to have that little community there, a little sub community. But we want as many of you in there as we can possibly get. And it's like, seriously, costs fuck all. Like, we're not asking for a lot. Just whatever you can chip in there is greatly appreciated, and you'll get bang for buck. Yeah, otherwise, that's about it. Make sure you keep up to date with this. We'll be having posts online for polls, and there'll be battles and all kind of stuff going on online and all the usual shit going on. But yeah, follow us, keep up to date, and we'll be back with more same time, place next week. But for now, we have to go to the bin, as we do every week to close things out, where we just, have a little bit of event at the end of the show. So, Dave, what are you putting in the bin this week?
I got two. One being Easter eggs. Remember those crate eggs the Cadbury used to do for fucking decades? They don't do them anymore. Because obviously plastic is bad. Plastic is bad. They do them in boxes now, and they're now half the size and twice the cost. Fuck off, Cadbury.
Yep.
And as far as price costing, petrol. We bitch about it all the time, but every time there's a public holiday or a long weekend, and a long 4-day weekend, it always goes up. That's just fucking thievery. Fuck off in the bin.
Agree. Definitely agree. They've been doing it for years, and for some reason, the ACCC just can't get their head around it. Hey, fuck off.
Yeah, that's fucked. There's no bullshit excuse for it.
Yeah. No,
every time there's a fucking public holiday, a 4-day weekend, it always goes up, and it comes back down Tuesday when you're back at work. No excuse. Bullshit.
No, I agree.
And that kind of goes against the whole ethics of Easter as well. I mean, that's not. It's not really in the Easter spirit of things at all.
No, but same thing. Say the same thing at Christmas as well. They do it then too. So it is what it is. Yeah. Bastards. All right, Jeff, what are you putting in the bin this week?
Two things. One, Conrad playing with his pud. That can go in the fucking bin. What the fuck is? Yeah,
it's a piece. It's a piece. It's blue tack.
Okay.
Piece of blue tack.
Well, play with your pud. It's putty. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
piece of blue tack. How you can associate a piece of blue tack with wanking off is beyond me.
Conrad, you're not seeing our angle.
Yeah, you're not seeing
our angle.
Out here.
If you can stick things to the wall with it, Conrad, it's fucked up.
Yeah. Look, and
here we go. There we go. That explains that one. All right, we got to keep moving though. So, Jeff, what else are you putting in the bin?
Look, I'm just the whole sickness shit that I had. That's got to go in there because I was fucked up. Seriously, last week when I did the show, I after I got off, after the show was done and everything like that, I was.
In for that. Great choice of words.
She can't say a word now.
Yeah, I was gonna say anything. But after I left the show, I was on. We talked a little bit, and then the show ended. I was gonna say I got off, but I was fucked. My throat was fucking done. The next day, I was like, oh my gosh, and so and it. I was a bit of a trooper, but
Yeah, you struggled at the end.
I had to be because I was pretty done. So that's for me. That's the band. That pretty simple. I don't want to feel like that ever again.
Yep, fair enough. Alrighty, Conrad, how about you?
A new job that I started, and it's working with the public. I hate dealing with the public. I turn more and more into Basil more and more and more into Basil Fawlty every day dealing with the public. I really do. Fucking hate them. Anyway,
wow.
So these cunts
with
going to
live stream. This is going well.
Yeah, these cunts with prams, people with prams. Okay, my job is to help people onto trains right at the moment down at King's Cross Station, and they're just fucking assholes, man. People with prams, you know, no, you got to pull the thing apart and do it on the platform. Don't do it on the train. And I tell you what to do. And people get arsey when you ask them to do things, and then they complain on fucking, you know, they go on a website and moan that I might have spoken to them in a manner that they didn't appreciate. What they don't say is I was a complete asshole to this person before they reacted. What I say is actually I treated the staff member like he was a complete fucking cunt before he reacted in the way that he did to me. So yeah, they can go in the bin. So I call them customers.
Yes,
that's my word for them. Customers.
Yep.
Customers, yes, or passengers in this case, but they're just fuck off.
Yep, fair enough.
So yeah, whoever came out with this stupid fucking saying that worked in retail, the customer is always right, should be taken out and fucking publicly flogged. Taken out and publicly flogged for such stupidity.
You know what? That comes from capitalism.
Yeah.
Because when the customer's always right, they're the ones paying, they're the ones giving you the money. So you have to kiss their ass so they keep doing it.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's the same business you do.
I've changed.
Tell the fuck off.
No,
customer is first. Off, which is what I do.
No, customer's second. Staff is first.
No, true. That was the workplace we had anyway. All right, for my bin, I've got a couple as well, actually. One is just snakes. Having to deal with that today was a bit of a pain in the ass. We've had a few now. Had them in my car. Had them in my house. I'm like, what the fuck? But we're learning. The other one too is just it's the first week of April, and we had April Fools going around. I don't care about the April Fools gags. You get that all the time. But the amount of news services that took bait stuff from bands and then just reprinted the headline and treated it like it was real was just mind-blowingly stupid. So the journalists out there in the media world of the metal and rock landscape just, so-and-so did this, and it's like, yeah, and it was a social media prank. I don't need you to write a headline about it, do we? Like, really? Is that where we are now? Wow. So that lazy shit can just go straight in the bin. It shows you how far down the clickbait barrel we've gone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But on a funnier note, I'm going to put Caesar in the bin this week.
What's he done?
The idiot decided he would chase a wallaby. Now we've got snakes, got wallabies, got everything here. So decided
got his ass kicked.
No,
his ass kicked by a wallaby.
No. Right. He's bigger than the wallabies. I'll give him that much. He's a lot bigger than the wallabies, actually, by a fair margin. But the thing is that when he decided to do it, he hasn't chased anything. When we first got here, we wanted to chase, and that we trained it out him for a while. But this time around, he just got it in his head and he was off. He's got very high prey drive. And so he can be a bit sort of problematic in that regard, which is why he's usually not chained up or anything, but he's contained by us, with us at all times, and that sort of stuff. This time around, we just sort of let him walk around. He's like, okay, cool, I want that. And he goes and runs for it. Thing is, it had been raining, like I said last week, for days and days and days and days and days on end. And it was just the ground was so wet. Like, it was inches underneath. Like, you could just slip and you would take a half foot of soil with you if you slipped over, kind of thing. It was so soaked. Right. What the dumb dog didn't realize is that wallabies can turn on a dime, right? And they can do it whether it's wet or it's dry. A Great Dane, not so much. So what happened is I've just gone to follow to see where he was going. He's chased after this wallaby. The wallaby's turned and gone the other way. He's tried to turn, ended up in his ass and dragging a great big train of soil with him and fucking hurt his back right leg. So now he's limping around going, oh, I'm sore. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what you get for being fucking stupid. So he chased the wallaby, came off second best, not because the wallaby got him, but because he tripped over his own feet and ended up hurting his leg. So he's getting better now. It's taken a few days to settle down, but he's getting there. But just going to put him in the bin because he was just a bit of a silly boy this past week. So love him to bits. He's asleep beside me here. But some days he just does something. Like, I called him back. He didn't listen to me. So it's like, well, then there you go. He didn't want to listen to me. You get what you get. silly dog. But no, he's well looked after. Don't get me wrong, people. He's very well looked after. He's pampered. We set up because he sleeps on the bed with us, so he's got we've made a walkway to get up on there and stuff. So don't worry, he's pampered. But yeah, just because he gets pampered, I get to call him a dickhead when he does something stupid like that. Turnabout's fair play. All right, what do we got here? Back to photography here. Michael says real photography is art. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, so Michael, if you're watching, that goes for you as well. Vinny says regarding petrol prices, cheaper to walk on water these days.
Yeah.
And back to the blue tack there, Vinny's crotch cam again. Conrad's crotch cam again from Vinny. Michael says, Conrad, you're definitely polishing your knob on camera, no doubt. Nicole says, my bin is people dying in floodwaters. Turn around, don't drown. Yeah, it did happen a bit up here this past week. I'm glad you're okay. It's been
Someone
wild.
Today, I think it was today or yesterday. Some guy drowned in Queensrÿche. Yeah,
it's just silly. We had one actually in town here a few months back, and it's just don't take the chance. Seriously. Rowan's gone, cunts with prams. You mean mothers? There we go.
Parents were prams.
Oh wow. And here we go. Vinny's Vinny's on my bin was there were no Jehovah's Fitness classes on Good Friday. However, thankfully Jesus came through with CrossFit. He's got my best material yet. Stick around. Oh my goodness, Vinny. All right. I think that about does it on that note. I think we should get out of here and call it a night. But thank you all so much for tuning in. We've I see there's more numbers every week, which is great. Actually, it just keeps going up and up. So thank you all for tuning in. Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Yeah. Spread the word. We're trying to make this as much fun as we can. Obviously, each week we keep doing it, and it keeps growing, which is great. But we need your help to keep doing it more. So spread the word. Tell your friends about it. Do the old school mixtape thing where everyone's going, have you heard about this or seen this or whatever else have you? So we'd like to get your help there to do that one. If you don't want to do anything else, that's the simple best way to help us is to get the word out there. So, but that'll do us for now. On behalf of Dave beside me on the show and Jeff in the chair down below, and then Conrad beside him with the vertical screen. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you all again, same time and place. Until next time, you know exactly what to do, folks. As always, I'm Andrew.
Drink up.
But yes, Dave has it. Drink up.
I'm premature. Drink up.
And rock on.
Premature hydration.
Have a good week.
See ya.